What's up, you guys? My name is Hutch, and I make Call of Duty videos and put them on the internet. And as I'm recording this, it's the 21st. It's Monday. It's about 9:41 p.m. We got about 4 days to go until the launch of Modern Warfare. And I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today about my expectations for this game, which are very, very high for a number of reasons. The first reason, first and foremost, just because of the gameplay that you're watching on the screen right now, you can plainly see the MP in this game is a lot of fun, a ton of fun. It's super refreshing. It feels very new, even though it's also very familiar. This is, I've said it before in other videos, but this is the biggest departure yet since probably COD 4, and that was a huge departure. Another reason why I have really high expectations for this game is the single-player campaign. They brought in a lot of Naughty Dog folks to come in and give it a lot of polish as far as the writing and the story went. And it's a lot more gritty, a little bit more realistic. And you know what, guys? Speaking of realism, this video is sponsored by War Thunder. It's a free-to-play military vehicle combat game. If you've ever wanted to go toe-to-toe with others using helicopters, aircrafts, tanks, and ships, listen up. For the history buffs out there, you guys will appreciate the thousands of historically accurate vehicles in the game. They're styled up to the 1930s and 1990s eras, simulating battles from the Cold War and World War II with over 80 different maps. There's modes for all different types of players. There's arcade mode for faster matches, there's simulator for more accurate matches, and then there's realistic, which is a lot more challenging. And as an MMO with over 20 million players and a developer that's constantly pushing new updates, there's always something to do. Remember, that's War Thunder. It's free. It's available on Xbox, PC, and PS4 with cross-platform capabilities. Download today by clicking the link in the description to get a free bonus for registering, a premium tank, ship, or aircraft, and a 3-day account boost. So continuing on with what I was discussing before, we already discussed multiplayer. You guys are watching multiplayer right now on your screen. We already discussed single player. I think that campaign is going to be controversial, make a lot of headlines, but I also have faith that the team that is making that single player campaign, they're going to do a really good job. And actually, one thing that I haven't played a COD campaign in a really long time, but I've heard recently that a lot of the COD campaigns have actually been really good in recent memory. A lot of people that I've ran into recently said that the Infinite Warfare campaign was actually a ton of fun, even Advanced Warfare. I know Mike really dug that single-player campaign. But yeah, my expectations are very high for that, as I've already discussed. Another thing that I think a lot of people are going to sleep on, and I know that they slept on in Modern Warfare 2, was Spec Ops. Spec Ops was a ton of fun. And if you guys, I don't know who's watching this video. Maybe you just started playing COD in the last 4 or 5 years, something like that. Spec Ops was in Modern Warfare 2 where these single or two-player missions, and you could set the difficulty, or actually, I don't know if you could set the difficulty, but you had to complete some of the maps in a certain amount of time to receive like a 5-star rating or something, whatever the highest rating was for that specific game type. And some of those Spec Ops missions got insanely hard, and it was actually a ton of fun. Obviously, games have changed a lot in the last 10 years. The engine's a lot better. It looks a lot prettier. They have more freedom to work with. They have more options on the table because there's a lot more computational power with these machines that they're pushing. So my hope for Spec Ops is that they make it something like a Destiny raid. Like, I want these things to be insanely difficult. And if they do that, and if the maps are fun, then that would be something that I would be interested in playing with. I don't know if they're doing 2 players, 4 players, what they're doing, but that's something that I'm definitely interested in. I thought it was a sleeper in Modern Warfare 2. And I'm not going to sleep on it for this game. And then the last thing that I want to say, actually, I'm sorry, the second to last thing, the rumor is, I don't have any inside intel, but the rumor is that they're going to release a standalone free-to-play Battle Royale in January or February using this engine. And if they do that, and if they pull off a good BR, and even this time around, they don't even need to have like a crazy healthy PC player base because there's crossplay in the game now. And so as long as I'm playing with someone, who's playing on a console or playing with a controller or something like that, I don't need to worry about not being able to find a game on PC like I did with Black Ops 4, which I still think is a tragedy to this day because I think Blackout was a terrific BR. I still play it on PS4 from time to time. It's just I thought they nailed it. I thought it was a really good BR. And my expectations are very high for the hypothetical BR that is rumored to release in January or February. Obviously, it needs to be good, but this team that's working on this game, they're not messing around. It's a really talented team of map designers, artists, that sort of thing. And then the last thing I want to say is that their post-launch strategy that they've announced is the perfect step in the right direction. I don't know if you guys caught the news, but they just recently announced that they are getting rid of loot boxes altogether in these games, which is curious because I think someone, I can't remember who it was, but somebody that was playing in the beta and streaming it or making YouTube videos, they actually saw a graphics placeholder for loot boxes, for supply crates. So I don't know if that was something that they decided at the last minute to take out, or if, I don't know what kind of a build we were playing on for the beta, but that actually really surprised me. They announced that they're going to replace the loot box system with traditional season passes, and all the items that you get as a result of progressing through that season pass are going to be cosmetic. So none of the DLC weapons, from my understanding, are going to be behind any kind of a paywall. I think you're going to have to earn the weapons. I don't know. I have no idea. I can't remember what I read on Charlie Intel, but they're doing this is what the COD community has been asking for ever since they announced loot boxes, or ever since they introduced loot boxes in the series. And so it's a welcome change. I know that there was a lot of buzz about it on social media the day that it happened. There were a ton of people that were super excited about it. So as long as the content is good, as long as the maps are good, as long as they aggressively release these maps so that there's something fresh every month, every couple months, there's some fresh feeling. I think that's one of the reasons why Apex has struggled, is because that game just doesn't feel very fresh anymore. Feels like the same game, in many ways. I know they just released a new map, but they just don't really aggressively pursue a voluminous schedule of releasing their new content. And if this game can do that, if this game can keep the game fresh, keep the polish going, I think it has potential to be probably the biggest Call of Duty in my mind, since Modern Warfare 2. I know that there have been other Call of Duty since that have sold more copies, but I'm talking about in terms of the impact on the culture, on the gaming culture, that sort of thing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Am I totally out of line for having my expectations super high for this game, or do you guys agree with me? That's what I want to know. That's what I want you guys to answer. If you guys like this video, click like. If you guys enjoy this content, consider subscribing. If you really enjoy this content, consider hitting that bell notification to make sure that you guys are kept up to date every time I post a new video. I plan on posting a ton of content for this game. I plan on streaming this game 6 to 8 hours a day for the first couple months at least. I plan on uploading more videos, that sort of thing. It's going to be a busy time for me coming up here pretty soon. And honestly, I'm not ready for this. If I'm being honest with you, I am stressed out of my fucking mind right now. I have so much stuff that I got to get done in the next week. And then also just like generally in the next like 2 or 3 months. I had one of those days where, like, I don't know if you guys experience a lot of stress, but sometimes when I experience too much stress, it feels like my body just like jacks me up with a bunch of adrenaline and cortisol, and then it just sticks with me the whole day. I just feel like I have this knot in my stomach the whole day. I know some of you guys in the chat are going to say, hey, you should go to the gym. You should work out, take some of that energy, put it to good use. And I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm not going to do that. It's not happening. Look at my physique. Do you really think that I need to go to a gym? Why would you even mess with perfection? You don't walk up to a Picasso painting and then just kind of draw your own lines here and there. That's not how it works. And that's not how it works with me and my body. And I'm not going to have you tell me otherwise. I don't know how this got off the rails the way that it did. But I'm not sorry. And that's going to do it. Thank you guys for tuning into my video. I appreciate the fact that so many of you guys are still watching these videos 10 years after I started making content. Actually, technically 11 years now. So thank you guys for that. Peace out.
Thanks again to War Thunder for supporting this video. With massive aerial, sea, and ground battles waiting for you, now is the perfect time to play. Click the link in the description to register and get free bonuses today.